Okay, today is Saturday. It's 2:57 a.m. It is April 11th. Uh, I was just sitting here and I thought about the setup, okay, the trading setup. I was thinking about that. And the setup is essentially is a couple things that merge together, and then for me to think about it for a while, sit on it, and then think about the possibilities of how I can use it. Right? That was like yesterday, and I'm sitting here. This is like 3 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday, and I'm thinking about this, and something popped into my mind. It just pops in. It seems like it seems. See, I just saw this YouTube video of this guy talking about like golf and coaches, right? Why golfing has coaches, but trading doesn't have any coaches, right? So I thought about that, but there's a lot of similarities in life. Okay, and so I thought about how uh, a fermentation. Okay, a fermentation is a concept called I take a raw ingredient. Okay, several raw ingredients and then mix them together. Initially, the potency of each ingredients are overpowering by itself, but added together within it, it causes the flavors to seep through to the theme of the product that's being generated. In this case, a fermentation of something, right? Whether it's through bacterial kind of growth that causes it to ferment something. But these ingredients merge together to create a new solution. It creates a new, a more developed, a sequentially higher level of it's a higher level of differentiation between the raw ingredient to the fuller ingredient that eventually mixes together and becomes, right? So I thought about that and I thought, okay, so it seems to me that a lot of this reminds me of this interaction with this lawyer who is profitable, and then this individual who wants to be profitable, but he knows everything about trading except how to make money, right? He knows all the facts. So he has all the raw ingredients, but those raw ingredients are not tied together to formulate something that is useful. Okay, profitability. That's fermentation. So this person has fermentation, okay, on a small scale, but wasn't able to drastically change it into a high level, right? But this person has raw factual data that has not been fermented, okay, matured enough within that scope of developing in that realm of trading, right? And so what I've noticed is that as I'm sitting here, I'm I know what works. Okay, I can see what works. And then as it starts to simmer and ferment within my mind, I'm thinking to myself, well, there's got to be a couple of different ways of doing it. Okay, so the approach that I have, sure, it's good. The approach that I have is good, but it has a limited scope in my understanding. And how does it apply? Okay, now I'm fermenting it. I'm fermenting my idea, the concept that I have, into something that is can't be transferred over to the other ones. Okay, so the concept that I have, uh, that I use, has to have some sort of volatility involved in it with certain price action. Okay, it has price action and certain volatility. Then I thought to myself, okay, so how does that relate to something that has like pullbacks? Because a lot of people trade pullbacks. Okay, so something to do with on a greater scale, on a bigger scale. It's a break and retest kind of thing, but for very small time frame trading, for a very small time frame trading, It's a very short period of time, okay? But if I'm attempting to expand upon that, expand upon it, and then now I'm thinking about somebody who said, "Well, it's 4 hour time frame. Oh, it takes a long time to do." Okay, but I suppose what it will do is, sure, it works on a short time frame, but it's also going to work on a longer time frame. So that means that I have to allow my trade thesis to ferment. Okay, it is a fermentation for the price to move in a certain location. But in order for me to allow the fermentation to take effect, that means that I have to program it right. Okay, I have to make sure that the programming, the thesis that I generate, will stand the test of time, which is stand the test of fermentation. Okay, initially when I add the ingredients, I have to know at a later time it's going to have certain flavor to it. Okay, when I add to it, I know that if it's a pickle, it's gonna be pickled for a certain time. It's gonna turn into a pickle at a certain amount of time. So so then I'm dabbling in the greater scope, the bigger picture, the bigger picture of trading to understand how fermentation is going to take me to the next level of trading, right? Okay, initially it's initially what's happening is, okay, so I do this and I get a fast reaction of what happens. If it goes the other way, I immediately exit, okay? But that's a very short time frame, like a 1 minute candle kind of a situation. But now I'm thinking of it in a bigger time frame of allowing my trades to be placed with all the ingredients together to ferment, okay, at a certain point, okay? And then when that fermentation is complete, then I should have a fermented product at the end, okay? And I heard that fermentation is good, all right? Sauerkraut is a fermented kind of thing. Uh, so now I'm really on a Friday, on a Saturday, on a Sunday, what does a trader do, okay? Especially when there's really nothing else to do and when I'm in like uh, when essentially I'm just here, okay, with nothing to do. So now I'm thinking about the fermentation process. Now I'm trying to figure out how to ferment. Okay, I want to learn how to ferment things. Okay, how do I ferment it? Okay, how do I ferment my trades? I'm exploring fermentation. Okay,